firms all serving as facades for the underworld's intricate network. This clandestine web of crime and commerce had for years been the backbone of Liverpool's shadow economy. Yet beneath the surface, tensions simmered, waiting for the slightest provocation to erupt. John Kinsella, a name that commanded both fear and respect, was a linchpin in this network. His reputation was not merely built on the violence he could wield, but on the alliances he forged and the grudges he held. His execution was not just a personal vendetta, it was a strategic move in a game where power was both the prize and the weapon. As the sun climbed higher that fateful May morning, the implications of his death began to ripple through the city's criminal echelons. Old alliances were questioned and new ones were forged in the shadows. The meticulous nature of Kinsella's murder suggested a new player or an ambitious rival, someone who had dared to challenge the status quo. Fragments of a life steeped in crime, seeking answers in the shadows where Kinsella had thrived. Each piece of evidence was a thread in a complex tapestry of deceit, ambition, and betrayal. As they delved deeper, the layers of Liverpool's criminal underworld began to unravel, revealing a landscape more treacherous than any could have imagined. The community, once living in a fragile peace, now found itself on edge. Conversations hushed as people glanced over their shoulders, wondering which way the winds of change would blow. For those who had lived under Kinsella's reign, his absence left a vacuum filled with uncertainty, a void that could lead to chaos or a new order. John Kinsella's death was not the end but a beginning of an era where the old rules no longer applied, where the lines between friend and foe were blurred, and where survival meant adapting to an ever-shifting landscape. The echoes of those gunshots were a stark reminder that in the world of shadows, the only constant is change, and the only certainty is the inevitability of conflict. In the grand theater of Liverpool's underworld, the stage was set for a new act, one written in blood and ambition, where the players must navigate a treacherous path to claim their place in the annals of the city's criminal history. In the shadowed corridors of power, where the line between legitimacy and lawlessness blurs, John Kinsella emerged as a figure of both reverence and fear. His story unfolds amidst the gritty backdrop of Liverpool streets, where the echoes of industry and the whispers of crime intertwine. From a humble beginning in a working-class family during the early 1960s, Kinsella's journey through the labyrinth of the underworld was anything but ordinary. The streets of Merseyside, unforgiving and relentless, were both his teacher and his testing ground. Here opportunities were few, and the allure of crime was a siren call to those seeking escape from poverty. It was in this crucible that Kinsella honed his instincts, learning to navigate a world where survival often depended on a delicate balance of force and finesse. By the time he reached his teenage years, Kinsella had already carved out a reputation as a formidable presence. His physical prowess was matched only by his strategic acumen, attributes that did not go unnoticed by the local gangs. They saw in him a rare blend of brawn and brains, a combination that set him apart from the many who would rise swiftly, only to fall just as fast in the volatile criminal landscape. Kinsella's ascent was marked by a patience and intelligence that were his as deliberate, weaving a network of alliances that spanned the spectrum of Liverpool's social and economic fabric. His early years as a doorman at the city's nightclubs were pivotal. These venues, pulsating with life and fraught with tension, provided a fertile ground for Kinsella to cultivate relationships with club owners, businessmen, and RK, and when force was necessary, his execution was swift and decisive. The 1990s heralded a turning point in Kinsella's career. His involvement in mediating a high-profile dispute involving Liverpool footballer Steven Gerrard catapulted him into the public eye, solidifying his status not just within the criminal underworld but also in the legitimate business sphere. This incident was emblematic of his unique ability to straddle the line between two worlds, earning him respect and influence across the northwest of England. As the new millennium dawned, Kinsella had firmly established himself as a central figure in Liverpool's underworld. His services were in high demand, sought after by criminal enterprises and legislation. To some, he was an indispensable ally, to others, a formidable adversary. Yet this position of power was not without its perils. In a realm where loyalty is as fleeting as the tides, Kinsella's influence made him a target. The very attributes that elevated him to prominence also marked him as a potential threat to others vying for control. His life, a testament to the complexities of power and the fragile nature of alliances, was a continuous dance on the edge of a blade. In examining the life of John Kinsella, one finds a narrative that transcends the simple dichotomy of right and wrong. It is a story that speaks to the enduring human struggle for survival and significance, set against the backdrop of a world where the boundaries of morality are constantly shifting. His legacy, shrouded in both myth and reality, serves as a poignant reminder of the intricate web of choices that define the human condition. In the shadowy world that straddles the line between legality and lawlessness, few figures commanded the respect and fear that Paul Kinsella did. A master of the delicate balance required to maintain ties with law enforcement while deeply entrenched within the criminal underworld, Kinsella's influence extended far beyond the gritty streets of Merseyside. His reputation became a whispered legend not only across the northwest of England but also on an international scale. Known for his ability to handle sensitive matters with unparalleled discretion, he was the quiet force behind the resolution of gang disputes and the protector of high-stakes business transactions. Kinsella's word was currency within the labyrinthine networks of crime, a testament to his ability to navigate the treacherous waters between rival factions. His rise to prominence was marked not by ostentatious displays of wealth, as was common among his peers, but by a strategic invisibility. He understood that true power lay not in the flaunting of riches, but in the subtle manipulation of events from the shadows. This philosophy shielded him for years, allowing him to operate beneath the radar of both law enforcement and rival criminals. By the time the new millennium dawned, Kinsella had transformed from a street-level enforcer into a sophisticated strategist. His skills extended beyond mere intimidation. He wielded influence with a calculated precision that earned him respect from both illicit and legitimate circles. His operations were vast, involving the protection of high-value drug shipments through Liverpool's bustling ports and safeguarding businesses from the clutches of extortionists. Such was his reputation that the mere mention of his name could quell potential threats, creating a paradox where his criminal clout inadvertently curbed certain criminal activities within his domains. In the bustling nightlife of Liverpool, Kinsella's empire included nightclub ownerships that served dual purposes: legitimate enterprises and hubs for intelligence gathering. His neutrality across criminal territories was his greatest asset, allowing him to mediate conflicts with an impartial hand. However, this neutrality also made him a target, as his expanding influence in BPI. The fragile peace that Kinsella had maintained began to unravel in the latter half of the 2010s. By late 2015, the equilibrium in Liverpool's criminal landscape was shattered. A series of violent confrontations erupted, driven by an escalating battle for dominance over the region's lucrative drug trafficking routes. This chaos marked the beginning of the end for Kinsella, whose carefully constructed world began to crumble under the weight of its own complexity. Despite his efforts to mediate and maintain order, the forces of greed and ambition were relentless. The intricate web of alliances and rivalries that had sustained him ultimately became his undoing. In this world where alliances were as fleeting as shadows, Kinsella's fate was sealed not by a single act of betrayal, but by the inevitable tide of change that swept through the criminal corridors he once controlled. In the end, Kinsella's story serves as a poignant reminder of the transient nature of influence. His life, a tapestry woven with threads of power, discretion, and danger, underscores a universal truth that in the relentless pursuit of control, even the most formidable figures are but whispers in the winds of time. In the labyrinthine world of organized crime, the docks of Liverpool served as a silent witness to a saga of ambition and betrayal, where alliances were as fluid as the tides. Within this underworld, crews from both Merseyside and Manchester navigated a treacherous landscape, their fates intertwined in a dance of power and survival. The delicate balance was shattered on a fateful day in Salford, where the echoes of gunfire outside a local gym signaled a seismic shift. This brazen attack bore the unmistakable signature of a professional hit, the assassin making a swift getaway on a bicycle, a method that would later resonate with grim significance. The ripples of this shooting spread rapidly through the criminal networks of the Northwest, its brutality matched only by the implications it carried. The victim, a close confidant of the notorious Mark Fellows, marked a turning point in a saga that would soon envelop another key figure, John Kinsella. Kinsella, long positioned as a mediator amidst the volatile factions, found himself in a perilous crossroads. His extensive knowledge of the intricate operations and key players made him both an asset and a liability. He was a man walking a razor's edge with neutrality that was increasingly viewed with suspicion by those who saw betrayal in every shadow. In the undercurrents of this tumultuous period, whispers of discontent grew louder. Intelligence reports hinted at a dangerous convergence of interests, with certain elements convinced that Kinsella was orchestrating a game of his own. This suspicion manifested in unsettling signs: unfamiliar cars trailing him, strangers lurking in familiar places, and inquiries into his daily life, particularly his serene morning walks with his partner. These were not mere coincidences, but the harbingers of a storm gathering on the horizon. The criminal landscape was shifting, driven by a new generation who viewed the established order as relics of a bygone era. These younger, more ruthless players dismissed the traditional hierarchy. By the dawn of 2018, the situation had reached a boiling point. The criminal underworld of Liverpool was in turmoil, its old guard decimated or exiled, leaving a vacuum that sparked fierce competition. The dissolution of long-standing codes of conduct rendered Kinsella's role as peacemaker increasingly untenable. Despite mounting warnings from his associates, Kinsella adhered to his routines, perhaps out of a misplaced confidence or a resigned acceptance of his fate. Yet, unbeknownst to him, his every move was under scrutiny, a meticulous plan unfurling with each passing day, leading inexorably to a tragic denouement. As the calendar crept towards the fateful morning of May 5, 2018, John Kinsella remained steadfast in his habits. Whether driven by defiance or destiny, he walked into the embrace of a meticulously orchestrated plot, a final chapter in a life marked by the precarious balance between power and peril. In this world of shadows and subterfuge, where the past is a prologue and every choice echoes across a web of unseen consequences, one is reminded that the pursuit of power is both an ancient and a perilous dance. It is a realm where trust is a luxury, and the only certainty is the relentless maw. In the tranquil suburb near Rainhill, life unfolded in predictable rhythms, a symphony of routines that offered comfort and a false sense of security. Yet, beneath this veneer of normalcy, a sinister plot was meticulously taking shape, one that would culminate in a chilling act of violence. Each dawn, Kinsella, a man of imposing presence yet unassuming demeanor, embarked on a ritualistic journey with his partner and their beloved canine companions. Their path, a well-worn trail near the bustling M62 motorway, was a testament to their unwavering routine. This predictability, however, would become the silent architect of his demise. Unbeknownst to Kinsella, his every step was being scrutinized by unseen eyes. The black Honda CBR motorbike, a shadow in the periphery, weaved through the tapestry of daily life, its riders conducting reconnaissance with unnerving precision. Days before the tragedy, this mechanical specter roamed the area, a harbinger of the grim events to come. On the eve of his murder, Kinsella exuded a calm confidence, attending a meeting at a local pub without a hint of the impending danger. Engaged in discussions that danced around business matters, he was a man seemingly untouched by fear. Those who shared his company that night would later recount his serene disposition, a stark contrast to the storm brewing in the shadows. After the meeting, Kinsella returned to the familiar embrace of his home, a sanctuary he had fortified with habitual security checks. The cameras captured his movements, a routine dance of vigilance that had thus far shielded him from harm. Inside, the evening unfolded with the simplicity of a shared meal, television flickering with mundane stories and plans for another morning walk. Yet, as the night deepened, a deadly choreography was being executed. The assassins, armed with intelligence and patience, had charted his course with clinical precision. The path near Manchester Road, partially obscured by trees and morning light, was identified as the perfect stage. Here the sun would betray him, and the hum of the motorway would cloak their approach. In the pre-dawn hours of May 5th, an eerie quiet settled over the area. Burnophones later traced to the crime buzzed with clandestine activity, while the black Honda prowled the streets, its presence noted by watchful cameras at 4:30 a.m. The assassins took their positions, the clock ticking inexorably towards their grim appointment. At 5 a.m., Kinsella, unaware of the machinations against him, embarked on his final walk. The crisp morning air filled his lungs as he kissed his partner goodbye, the dogs eager and oblivious at his side. The killers, masters of timing, had chosen this moment for its solitude, knowing the world was still asleep, the motorway's roar their unwitting accomplice. As Kinsella and his partner strolled along their habitual path, the trap lay in wait. The black Honda, a harbinger of doom, was stationed strategically, its riders poised for action. This serene morning would soon be shattered, marked forever in the annals of Mersey's Underworld as a day of infamy. At precisely 6:45 a.m., the tranquility was disrupted by the familiar growl of the motorcycle. It was a sound that had become part of the landscape, yet this time it heralded something far more sinister. The execution, a meticulously planned crescendo, unfolded with brutal efficiency, leaving in its wake a void that could never be filled. In the aftermath, as the sun rose higher in the sky, the world continued to turn, indifferent to the lives irrevocably altered. The echoes of that morning lingered, a reminder of the fragility of routine and the darkness that can hide within its folds. In the end, it was a stark lesson that even in the most familiar of places, danger can lurk unseen, waiting patiently for its moment to strike. In the early hours of a seemingly ordinary morning, a figure clad in black tactical gear, inconspicuously marked by a high-visibility vest, brought his motorcycle to a halt, a mere dozen meters behind his unsuspecting targets. The tranquility of the scene was shattered as the rider dismounted with an unnerving calm, drawing a handgun from beneath his vest with the precision of a seasoned professional. Kinsella's partner, sensing the imminent threat, urgently urged her to flee. The stillness of the morning was pierced by the sharp report of a gunshot as Kinsella attempted to escape down a nearby embankment. The assailant pursued with a relentless determination, each step calculated, each movement deliberate. Eyewitnesses would later recount the chilling sequence of events, a rapid succession of at least 4 shots, each one finding its target with chilling accuracy. The entire assault, executed in less than 3/4 of a minute, bore the unmistakable signature of a professional hit. The assassin's demeanor was one of icy resolve, no hesitation, no visible emotion, only the ruthless efficiency of a trained operative. With Kinsella incapacitated, the assassin returned to his motorcycle, maintaining a strategic line of sight on the victim while meticulously scanning for any onlookers. This tactical awareness was later highlighted by investigators, noting the killer's seamless retreat. As the dawn broke over the city, CCTV cameras captured the motorcycle weaving through the early morning traffic, heading east along Manchester Road. The route was a testament to meticulous planning, carefully chosen to elude the pervasive gaze of surveillance cameras. The killer's forethought was evident in the selection of paths and shortcuts that offered a swift exit while minimizing exposure. The crime scene, littered with shell casings from multiple positions, painted a vivid picture of the shooter's proficiency, The shooter continued to discharge his weapon while on the move, demonstrating not only marksmanship but a level of tactical training that suggested military or professional roots. The final fatal shot, delivered at point-blank range to the back of Kinsella's head, was a chilling reminder of the execution-style nature of the attack. Forensic analysis would later confirm the weapon of choice, a .45 caliber handgun, selected for its formidable stopping power. Kinsella was pronounced dead on the scene at precisely 18 minutes past 7 in the morning. The precision and planning of the murder, the choice of location, and the timing all pointed to an operation executed with military precision. This was no crime of passion nor a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a calculated assassination, orchestrated by someone well-versed in the art of tactical warfare. The investigation into Kinsella's murder was launched with urgency, spearheaded by Merseyside Police's Major Crime Unit. Within hours, an incident room was established at St. Helens Police Station, marking the beginning of one of the most extensive manhunts in recent Merseyside history. Operation Trident, as the investigation was codenamed, initially deployed over 200 officers. The first significant breakthrough emerged from a painstaking review of CCTV footage. Investigators meticulously reconstructed the biker's route, piecing together snippets of surveillance from private residences, commercial establishments, and traffic cameras. This mosaic of evidence began to illuminate the path of the assassin, offering the first glimmers of insight into a case that would captivate the public and challenge the very fabric of law enforcement. In the shadows of this meticulously planned operation, one is left to ponder the darker aspects of human nature, the cold calculus of a life taken with such precision. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the lengths to which some will go to exert control over it. The echoes of that fateful morning continue to resonate, a somber reflection on the intersection of fate, choice, and the inexorable passage of time. The investigation into the murder began with a seemingly innocuous piece of evidence, a bicycle appearing on 48 different surveillance cameras, weaving a tale of its own. This lone vehicle, a silent witness to the unfolding drama, was traced back to the Rainhill area, where it was first observed at the break of dawn, precisely at 4:45 in the morning, on the day fate would change forever. Detectives soon realized that the killer had been lying in wait for over an hour, a predator in the shadows, biding time. The crime scene was meticulously combed by teams led by Morensic, who recovered .45 caliber shell casings, mapping the lethal journey of the shooter. Ballistics analysis linked the weapon to a previous unsolved shooting in Manchester, hinting at a broader conspiracy that stretched beyond a single act of violence. The investigation took a pivotal turn with the discovery of a GoPro camera affixed to the handlebar of a mountain bike, abandoned 3 miles from the murder site. This digital eye had recorded reconnaissance missions along Kinsella's habitual dog-walking path in the weeks leading up to the crime, capturing not just the landscape but a fleeting reflection that would later serve as a key to unmasking the killer. Despite these breakthroughs, the investigation faced formidable obstacles. The Underworld, typically a source of whispered secrets, had fallen silent. Fear and mistrust had driven informants into hiding, and even the lure of substantial rewards failed to breach the wall of silence that surrounded the case. Yet digital forensics offered another route. Analysis of cell phone data unearthed a web of surveillance activities, meticulously orchestrated over weeks. The killer employed a sophisticated network of burner phones, yet a singular oversight, a repeated use of the same handset, provided detectives with their first tangible lead. This breadcrumb trail led investigators to re-examine connections with other unresolved murders across the Northwest. Emerging patterns suggested a series of targeted assassinations rather than isolated incidents, unveiling a chilling campaign orchestrated from the shadows. Within a mere 6 weeks of Kinsella's murder, the investigation had amassed a compelling body of evidence against Mark Fellows, a 38-year-old from Warrington with deep ties to Manchester's organized crime. The case against him was built on a foundation of painstaking analysis of both digital and physical evidence, a web that slowly ensnared its prey. The GoPro footage proved to be the linchpin. Forensic video experts enhanced reflections captured in a car window, revealing distinct facial features unmistakably matching Fellows. Moreover, cell phone data placed him at the scene during reconnaissance missions, aligning seamlessly with the GoPro's timestamps. As detectives delved deeper, additional evidence surfaced. Fellows had purchased the same model of the bike, a seemingly minor detail that fortified the case against him. This calculated pursuit of truth, an intricate dance between technology and tenacity, ultimately unveiled a narrative of cold calculation and ruthlessness. In the end, the investigation transcended the mere solving of a crime, becoming a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice in a world where silence often reigns. The convergence of digital footprints and human error illuminated the darkness, revealing the intricate tapestry of a life taken and a truth uncovered. In the labyrinth of human behavior and digital traces, the quest for justice remains an eternal journey, guided by the light of unwavering determination. 3 months prior to the chilling murder, an enigmatic figure emerged, cloaked in deception and operating under an alias. The elusive specter of this individual, known as Mark Fellows, would soon cast a long, dark shadow over the criminal landscape of northwest England. The crime, meticulously orchestrated, bore the hallmarks of a professional hit, yet the physical evidence in the form of a bicycle seemed to vanish into thin air. Despite this, technology offered a breakthrough. Surveillance footage captured the rider's distinctive gait, a subtle clue that would later be matched to Fellows through advanced AI-assisted gait analysis. The turning point in the investigation came with a search of Fellows' residence. There, investigators unearthed tactical clothing eerily similar to that described by eyewitnesses as worn by the shooter. Yet it was not merely the attire that sealed Fellows' fate. A Garmin Forerunner GPS watch, seemingly innocuous, held within its digital heart a damning narrative. Upon examination, it revealed that Fellows had conducted a reconnaissance run of the murder route a full 2 months before the fatal event, mapping his movements along the very path where John Kinsella would ultimately meet his end. The case against Fellows grew more intricate as links to other unsolved murders surfaced. The ballistics evidence from Kinsella's murder bore a sinister resemblance to that from previous gangland shootings, painting a portrait of Fellows as a seasoned hitman, executing contracts with chilling precision across the Northwest. Although the murder weapon, a .45 caliber handgun, remained elusive, forensic analyses suggested its involvement in at least 3 other killings, weaving a tapestry of violence that pointed directly to Fellows. Despite the mounting evidence, the prosecution faced formidable challenges. Much of their case rested on circumstantial evidence, and Fellows' defense team seized upon this, casting doubt on the reliability of digital evidence. They scrutinized the GPS data's accuracy and questioned the validity of gait analysis, arguing that such evidence was too novel to withstand the rigors of judicial scrutiny. As the investigation deepened, it uncovered a tangled web of connections between Fellows and organized crime syndicates in Manchester. This revelation suggested that Kinsella's murder was not an isolated incident, but rather a calculated maneuver within a broader gangland feud. Financial probes further revealed significant sums funneled into offshore accounts linked to Fellows in the aftermath of the murder. While the origins of these funds remained shrouded in mystery, they hinted at the sinister machinations of a criminal enterprise. In January 2019, the culmination of an 8-week trial at Liverpool Crown Court saw Mark Fellows condemned for the murder of John Kinsella. The prosecution's meticulous narrative, bolstered by the compelling GPS watch data, proved insurmountable. Throughout the proceedings, Fellows maintained a stoic silence, never divulging the identity of those who orchestrated the hit or the motives behind it, earning him the moniker the Iceman from the media. The judge, in delivering a whole-life sentence, described the murder as a methodical execution carried out with cold-blooded precision. This sentence rendered Fellows one of the few in British history to receive a whole-life tariff, ensuring he would never walk free again. His conviction reverberated through the criminal underworld, underscoring the emergence of a new era in law enforcement's battle against organized crime. The innovative use of digital evidence marked a transformative moment in the ability of the police to dismantle the clandestine operations of the criminal elite, heralding a future where technology and justice intertwine in the relentless pursuit of truth. In the shadowed alleys of Liverpool, the echoes of chaos reverberated as notorious criminals sought refuge beyond borders, haunted by the specter of both assassination and apprehension. The brutal murder of an influential figure sent shockwaves through the city's criminal underworld, creating a power vacuum that ignited a fierce struggle for supremacy among rival factions. The delicate equilibrium once maintained by the fallen Kinsella crumbled into a series of violent skirmishes that painted the streets red with conflict. In the ensuing months, the police observed a marked surge in gang-related violence, a direct consequence of the destabilized hierarchy. The conviction of fellows served as a catalyst, unraveling the fragile truce and prompting law enforcement to intensify their efforts. Leveraging intelligence unearthed during the murder investigation, authorities launched a crackdown on organized crime, leading to the arrest and conviction of several prominent figures involved in illicit enterprises such as drug trafficking and money laundering. This investigation inadvertently peeled back the layers of Liverpool's clandestine networks, providing an unprecedented glimpse into the machinations of its criminal syndicates. It heralded a paradigm shift in the policing of Merseyside as new specialized units emerged, armed with cutting-edge tools for digital intelligence and surveillance. The meticulous strategies employed to capture fellows became the blueprint for future operations, marking a new era of efficacy in combating gangland atrocities. Yet, despite the triumph of Fellows' conviction, the investigation left a trail of unanswered questions. The true architects of the murder, the breadth of the conspiracy, and the whereabouts of the elusive murder weapon eluded the grasp of justice. Some detectives speculated that Fellow's silence shielded influential figures still at large, while others pondered whether his reticence was merely a testament to his own professional pride. In the end, the case served as a stark reminder of the tangled web of allegiances and the enduring enigma that shrouds the world of organized crime.